We are back, episode 2 of the Simply Fitness podcast. Today, I'm going to be talking about setting your fitness goals. How do you do it? And how do you improve your fitness goals so you actually stick with them and get results? If you enjoyed this episode, please leave a review and let me know what you thought. Hope you guys enjoyed this episode. Yo, how's it going, guys? Welcome to the second episode of the Simply Fitness podcast. I am super excited to be back today. Today, what we're going to be talking about is setting your fitness goals. So goals are some of the most important thing you can do in your fitness journey. Without a goal, what are you going to be focusing on? What are you going to be doing? What are you going to be working towards? It's great to work out. It's great to, eat right. But what's your aim behind it? What exactly are you looking to do? It gives you a lot of useful advice when you have a goal. So, one of the biggest things of reasons why setting a goal is so important is to help you stick with fitness long term. So, a lot of people are like, I want to get healthier. I want to, start working out. I want to start eating healthy. And they stick to it for a week or two. Think about your New Year's resolutioners. They stick to it for a week or two and then they fall off. Is mostly because they don't really have a goal. They really don't have a specific target that they're aiming for. So it's hard to stick with something if you don't really know what you're aiming for. If you're just trying to throw things against the wall and see what sticks, usually not much sticks, if anything. And it also helps you just give you focus on what you're aiming for. Are you trying to lose weight? Are you trying to gain muscle? Are you trying to be as strong as possible? Are you trying to do pull-ups? Are you trying to run a marathon? Are you trying to do a triathlon, a Spartan race? What are you doing? What are you aiming to do? It's going to help you focus in on what actions you need to be taking to reach those goals. So without a goal, you could be doing 100 different things, but where are you getting? Is it really helping you get to where you want to be? So that's why step number 1 usually with getting into fitness is creating a goal, having something in mind for what you're working towards. So I want to work through with you guys a prime example of what a bad goal is and how we can make it a better goal. So the goal itself isn't bad, but how we phrase it and how we work through it could be bad and leave you aimless at the end. So most common one that almost probably everybody's had before is, I want to lose weight. Great goal. You want to lose weight. But there's a lot of things that are wrong with that goal and why exactly it won't lead you to probably what you want. So how do we make that goal better? I want to lose weight. Well, first thing is you got to get specific. What specifically do you want to do? Okay, losing weight, great. But how much weight do you want to lose? Do you want to maybe fit in a specific pair of jeans or dress or shirt? Look good in a certain outfit? Do you maybe want to get, your belly fat down or, tone up your, get more muscle in your arms? Things like that. Try to make the goal as specific as possible. So, common one, lose 15 pounds. Great. That goal already is massively improved from I want to lose weight. Now we know I want to lose 15 pounds. Great. That's awesome. So next step is make the goal action oriented. So wanting to lose weight is great, but it's result based. So whether you complete your goal is directly related to the result. So you're only successful with that goal, with our goal right now of losing weight, if you lose weight. So at the end of 3 months, whatever timetable we put on this goal, if you don't lose that weight, you failed. But if you switch up the goal and make it more action oriented and based on actions, there are more than one way to succeed in that goal. So how do we make this more action based? What actions do you want to take to help you lose weight? I want to work out 3 days a week, strength training. I want to go for 30-minute walks every day after work or before work. I want to meal prep my lunches for the work week. I want to eat a vegetable with every meal. I want to track my calories. The list of actions go on and on. But the goal is to be specific with those actions and focus in on those actions. So, for our weight loss goal, we want to lose 15 pounds. Let's make it action oriented. I want to lose 15 pounds by strength training 3 days a week, tracking my calories daily, and going for a 10-minute walk at lunch every day. Boom. There you go. That goal is specific and action oriented. So at the end of our timetable, we can be successful in our goal even if we don't lose that 15 pounds because we know what actions we took. So looking at it, we can see, okay, at the end of the day, did I track my calories? If the answer is no, well, maybe that's the reason I didn't complete the goal. I strength trained 3 days a week. Awesome. I ate a vegetable with every meal. Awesome. You know what works and what didn't work. So this gives you data over the period of your goal so you know exactly what did and didn't work. If you weren't consistent with your strength training or with your actions that you were taking, maybe that's why you didn't complete your goal. Not because the goal was bad, but because you didn't follow through with those actions. So focusing in on those actions gives you actual data to look at and to determine what worked and what didn't work. Because if your goal is just, I want to lose 15 pounds, well, at the end of 3 months, how did you try to lose that weight? What were you doing? Did you switch your diet every week? Did you work out only once a week? What were you doing? You don't know what did and didn't work. The next step is to put a completion date on this. So I've kind of touched about this throughout the goal, but you should have some type of completion date. So whether that's a month, 3 months, 6 months, a year, 5 years, whatever it may be, set a timetable. That timetable needs to be realistic. So with our goal, 15 pounds, we know you can reasonably lose 1 to 2 pounds a week. 5 pounds a month is pretty average for the most part within a moderate calorie deficit. So let's set a timetable of 3 months for that. So what does our goal look like now? I want to lose 15 pounds by strength training 3 days a week, by tracking my calories daily, and by going on a 10-minute walk daily. By 3 months. In 3 months. So now our goal is very specific. We know what actions we need to take, and we have a completion date. Awesome. The last thing, which I just touched on a little bit, was making sure that this goal is realistic. So this is twofold. You got to make sure the completion date is realistic. If you want to lose 15 pounds in 1 month, that's going to be pretty hard unless you have a substantial amount of weight to lose. So be realistic with your goal. Like I just said, 1 to 2 pounds per week, 5 pounds per month is a pretty moderate calorie deficit. It's a very realistic goal to complete. About 1 pound of muscle per month is pretty average. So that's pretty realistic. Strength gains can be a little bit inconsistent depending on how long you've been lifting. So find a realistic goal. If you aren't 80% sure that you can complete that goal in that timetable, you need to change that date. You need to push it back to when you think you're 90 to 100% confident that you will complete that goal in that time period. There is no rush to complete your goal. Be patient. Take the time that you think you need to complete that goal. Because at the end of the day, you want to be successful, which is why we packed in those action-oriented steps as well as the result there. The second part of being realistic is making sure those actions are reasonable and realistic for you. If you don't work out at all right now and your action is to work out 6 days a week, you're most likely not going to stick with that long term. Some people, yes, some people might, but it's really not that realistic for someone who's never worked out in their entire life to go from doing nothing to doing 6 days a week. Usually what happens is that they fall off after week 2 because they're super sore or they took on too much too fast and they need to scale it back. Like we just said, be patient with finding those results. You want to be realistic with the actions that you're taking. So again, use that 80% confidence. If you're not 80% confident that you can complete those actions at a daily or weekly basis, whatever the action might be, then you need to switch up those actions and make them more realistic to you. You don't have to be working out every day. If you can complete 3 days a week and that helps you get to your goal, perfect. Don't look to be making these goals 100% to where you're going to be. The goal needs to be where you need to go. So you might want to work up to 6 days a week, and that might be what you want to do, or 5 days a week. That's great. You can start with 3 days a week for 3 months. Try that out, then add in another week. And then after a couple more months of doing 4 times a week, add in another day. That is a simple, easy way to progress your goals. So let's recap a little bit about how to set your fitness goal. So you want your goal to be specific as possible. You want it to be centered around actions that you can take on a daily or weekly basis. You want to have a completion date with your goal. And at the end of the day, you want to make sure that it's realistic for you to complete the goal and the actions associated with that goal. Another great thing to do with your fitness goal is to break up your long-term goals into chunks. So a lot of us have, big weight loss goals or big strength goals that could take a long time to complete. So say you want to lose 50 pounds. If you lose 5 pounds a month, that's going to take 10 months to complete. That's if you don't fall off. That's if you make progress that way, which we know weight loss is not a linear progress. So it might take you a little bit longer, which is perfectly fine. But break that goal up into chunks. Have monthly goals or even, quarterly goals. I think 3 months is a great time period to chunk up the year. So I like to have yearly goals and chunk it up into 4 3-month quarters and have goals for those 3 months. If, give the example we just talked about a little bit, if you want to start working out 5 days a week, maybe start off with 3 days. If you're doing nothing, start with 3. Maybe start with 2 days of strength training and a walk, or whatever it may be. Break it up however you want, and then start incorporating more days every 3 months to help you maintain that goal by the end of the quarter or the end of the year. So breaking up those long-term goals into chunks really helps you see out that long-term picture, because after 3 months of a 10-month goal, you might start to get bored. You might start to kind of lose sight of what you're working towards. So having a 3-month goal or a 1-month goal will help you kind of build up and get those victories along the way. When you want to lose 50 pounds and after 1 month you've only lost 5, which looks, on a scale from your 50-pound goal, it looks so small. You look so far away from your goal, when realistically that's awesome. That's awesome progress to make in a month, and it's progress towards your goal. And it could seem disheartening when your goal seems so far away to be making such little increments of progress, when realistically those small increments are huge victories. So having those smaller chunks will help you stay positive and to help you keep in mind that bigger picture, and to stick with your plan long term, because that is where you're going to see that progress. The long term is to be sticking with it and to be consistent with it. If you're not consistent with it, you're not going to see that progress. So let's give it one more example for how to set a goal. So we did a weight loss goal. Let's do a strength-based goal. So I want to deadlift 2 times body weight. Pretty standard strength goal for a lot of people. They want to be able to lift 2 times their body weight. That's awesome. So let's make this a little bit more specific. So let's say our person weighs 150 pounds. That's 300-pound deadlift. So I want to deadlift 300 pounds. Already more specific. Awesome. Action-oriented. So I want to deadlift 300 pounds by deadlifting 2 days a week minimum, strength training 4 days per week, and let's say getting more 150 grams of protein per day in my diet to help build muscle. So those are our 3 actions we're going to take. We're deadlifting at least twice a week. We're going to be, what we say, strength training 4 days a week, and getting 150 grams of protein per day. Boom. Action oriented. Have a completion date. So right now we deadlift 135. So almost 1 times our body weight. So let's give ourselves 1 year to double that weight. We've only been lifting for 3 months. So, and we had deadlift 135 right now. Let's give ourselves 1 year to do that goal. So that's our completion date. Is that goal realistic? Well, we just started lifting, so we should see some gains pretty fast. So we might be able to get up to 200 in the first couple months, 5 to 6 months. pretty easily. So, is it possible? Yeah. Is it realistic? Pretty confident that we can do that. And like this goal, we can break up that goal into chunks. So we're at 135 right now. In 3 months, let's aim to get to 175. And then in 3 more months, let's get up to 225. And then 3 months later, let's get to 275. And then we'll have 3 months to get up to 300, because strength is not linear, just like weight loss. There are going to be times where there's going to be peaks and plateaus, and we might have to fight through a couple plateaus throughout that process. So let's give ourselves a little bit more time to get up to that 300. Boom. We broke that goal up in chunks. It's very specific. We said we're going to be deadlifting. We want to get to 300 pounds. We know what actions we're going to take. We're going to deadlift at least twice per week. We are going to strength train 4 days a week, and we're going to be getting 150 grams of protein per day. And we have a completion date. We have 1 year from today getting that 300-pound deadlift. Boom. That took us a couple minutes to come up that goal from scratch. Take however much time you need, but take 10, 15 minutes. Think through what your goals are. Plan it out. This is such a powerful, underrated tool that a lot of people discount the fact that, goal setting sucks. It doesn't work. No, goal setting doesn't suck. You just suck at setting goals. So work on creating goals that are specific, that are action-oriented, that have a completion date, and are realistic to you. The biggest thing is it needs to be realistic to you. If you are not 80% sure that you can complete this goal, you need to make sure you're at least 80%. So you need to change your goal. You need to be confident in the fact that you can complete your goal. So again, I hope you guys enjoyed this episode of the Simply Fitness podcast. Please leave a review below. Let me know what you guys think of this podcast. Also, in the description below, I gave you a link to a free fat loss cookbook that has over 20 fat loss recipes. So if you need help with your diet and looking for some delicious foods to help upgrade your diet, to make it more enjoyable, and to help you stick with it long term, then go to the link below and get that free cookbook. It's free to you, no strings attached. Type in your email and you'll get the direct link to that PDF. Hope you guys have a great day and come back for our next episode.